Chapter 13 bankruptcy cases can end in dismissal for a whole wide range of reasons. But what happens after the case is dismissed? And what can you even do after a dismissal? That's what this video will help you figure out, in case your case is actually dismissed. Hey guys, my name is Justin, and this is Ascend Finance's YouTube channel, where we try to help you answer all of your finance and debt relief questions. Today, we are looking at Chapter 13 bankruptcy cases that have been dismissed and what you can do to take care of that. There are many valid reasons why you can't complete your Chapter 13 bankruptcy case, especially if you recently became unemployed. Common reasons your case is either voluntary or involuntarily dismissed are that potentially payments are being too high, you became unemployed, so lost a job, potential illness, or any unexpected financial hardship. Sadly, there are consequences for not completing a Chapter 13 plan, hence the dismissal. The video discusses those consequences, your next options, and whether you can get a Chapter 13 dismissal refund. Let's start by looking at some common reasons for Chapter 13 bankruptcy dismissal. A Chapter 13 repayment plan is typically a 60-month commitment. However, there are some times where it can be over a 36 3-year plan. Either case, 3 to 5 years is a long time, especially to be in a bankruptcy. Many things can happen during that time. So I wanted to kind of touch on some of the most common reasons for potential Chapter 13 dismissal. As I was saying earlier, they can be voluntary and they also can be involuntary. First, there is voluntary dismissal. This is where a debtor, a person who files a bankruptcy, can quit a Chapter 13 at any time, voluntarily. This means they can voluntarily withdraw from that Chapter 13 plan. Now, if you do decide to do this, it's important to understand that most all of your protection goes away after requesting dismissal. Legal protection, that is. The next reason for a dismissed case is any missed Chapter 13 plan payments. So if you do miss or you plan to miss, the courts can dismiss your case. It's also important to update your attorney or trustee if you are worried about that. However, most bankruptcy attorneys calculate Chapter 13 plans with a bit of room to help allow you in case of an unexpected hardship, etc. The Chapter 13 trustee and the bankruptcy judge will examine the reason for the request very carefully before granting a potential 3-month deferral of those payments. So that's something to consider as well. If you do not have a verified and approved hardship, the court can dismiss Chapter 13 bankruptcy case. The court can also dismiss your case if you fail to attend any hearings. So let's say you don't attend your 341 first meeting of creditors hearing or any of the Chapter 13 hearings, the court may dismiss your case. Failure to complete bankruptcy courses can end in dismissal as well. You must complete 2 bankruptcy courses as part of your bankruptcy case. The credit counseling course and the debtor education course are those courses to consider. Another reason is failing to file required tax returns. Debtors must file all required income tax returns or other tax returns as scheduled. If you do not correctly file all of your bankruptcy forms, the court may dismiss your case once the mistake is discovered. You must also complete and file your bankruptcy forms. Failing to file any required form could result in a potential dismissal. Also, the Chapter 13 trustee may require certain documents, and so failing to submit any of those documents could result in a potential dismissal as well. There are numerous deadlines in a Chapter 13 case. Failing to meet any of those deadlines set by the court or by the potential bankruptcy code could result in a Chapter 13 bankruptcy dismissal. Now, I know it's a lot of information, and as you can see, there are many nuanced reasons why you may see a Chapter 13 bankruptcy dismissed. Just as a general note, is dismissal is not the goal. The goal is a Chapter 13 discharge. What exactly are your Chapter 13 bankruptcy dismissal options? So what if your case gets dismissed? Well, if you're at that point, then you either want or require dismissal. There are a few options available to you. So let's touch on those. One option is to refile under a Chapter 13 or Chapter 7 bankruptcy. However, depending on the reason for the dismissal, automatic stay may not actually be in effect when you go into that filing, meaning that automatic stay, that full legal protection against your creditors. There could also be a penalty period before the automatic stay becomes in effect. During this time, creditors could continue to pursue, your debts and try to collect on them. Also, the dismissal of a Chapter 13 case may result in a mandatory waiting period before refiling, which is generally the case. Also, you can also consider potentially converting to the Chapter 7 before looking at a voluntary Chapter 13 dismissal. What that means is basically, if you're worried that your income is decreasing or you've seen an income decrease, you potentially may be able to actually convert your case to a Chapter 7 that is. However, there are risks to a Chapter 7, like potential losing your home or vehicle, which I can touch on, and I'll link to below some options that can help you understand what assets may be at risk. Nevertheless, assets with equity could be at risk of being sold in a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, unless the bankruptcy exemption protects the equity. In some cases, it might be actually worth losing an asset to get rid of the debts quickly in a Chapter 7. However, you should carefully analyze your risk of losing the property before doing a Chapter 7 conversion. You can get more information about the Chapter 7 bankruptcy process in our Chapter 7 bankruptcy overview video linked in the description below. There are some consequences for your Chapter 13 case being dismissed. When a Chapter 13 case is dismissed, your debts are not discharged or forgiven. Like I said, that's not the goal. You want to receive a discharge. In other words, you owe all the debts you did when you entered into the bankruptcy. Your creditors may give you credit for any payments they received from the Chapter 13 trustee. However, your creditors may begin to collection efforts again as soon as your bankruptcy is dismissed. So, what happens to the money that you paid into the bankruptcy trustee while you were following your repayment plan? Well, a Chapter 13 trustee can hold any money that remains undistributed to the creditors. By law, this money is supposed to be returned to the debtor after a Chapter 13 dismissal. However, the Chapter 13 trustee must file a detailed accounting with the court before returning any money to the debtor. The court allows the Chapter 13 trustee to first deduct any administrative fees before returning the funds. Also, your bankruptcy attorney may make a claim on those funds for unpaid professional fees. In some cases, the refund could also be a subject to a wage garnishment order or potentially a levy from the IRS. Nevertheless, this is generally because you no longer are granted the automatic stay from the dismissal, and without the stay, creditors have the legal right to start taking action to collect on the debt again. While the dismissal refund should theoretically go to you, if you haven't kept up with your attorney fees or you are still behind on your debt payments, the refund may be much smaller than you would expect. Ultimately, if your case is dismissed for whatever reason it may be, it's likely that you still need a little guidance on how to get out of the debt that you still potentially owe. At Ascend Finance, we want to help you figure out those next steps. To help with this, we built a debt relief calculator to provide insight on the different options like Chapter 7, debt settlement, and other debt relief options that you can consider after a Chapter 13 dismissal. With just a little bit of information, we can help you show the options that are available to you, and we can provide a free evaluation to help you go through those. Every situation is unique and different, and it's important to consider the pros and cons of each option. With that being said, we linked the calculator in the description below. Feel free to look through it and find out if any of those options may help you get out of the debt. We hope this video was helpful at explaining a Chapter 13 dismissal and the pros and cons attached. Let us know in the comments if you still have any questions, and we'll do our best to get back to you as quickly as possible. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please don't hesitate to leave a like, as it's extremely encouraging for us to see. Check out our page for more helpful debt relief videos. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so that you can get all the latest news and helpful tips of getting out of your debt. Thanks guys, and see you soon.